Hey guys, what's up? Skullzi here, and this is Scribing the Scrolls, where Skullzi scribes the scrolls. So many S's. That's good, because S's are good for you. Like, cereal is usually shaped like letters. So eat some letters, and you get some vitamin time. Anyway, that's not vitamin time, this is ElderScrolls time. Like I said originally, and what we're going to talk about today is ElderScrolls. Obviously. So, all jokes aside, this is going to be a running series where we discuss just our theories on Elder Scrolls. If there ever is any news about the next Elder Scrolls game, we'll definitely cover that. We'll share some community things, share comments, a lot of stuff. This is going to be an ongoing series. It's not quite going to be as big as a podcast because it's only going to be maybe 10 to 20 minutes an episode, but you can count on it to be, you're going to get one episode pretty often. We're not going to have a set schedule yet, but it'll be pretty often. We're also working on a podcast, so we just have to designate our times. Anyway, let's get away from all that stuff and get into what this video is about. I'm Skullzi, we have
Panda,
and she's over there smiling.
No, I was trying to think of something really clever, but no.
Slammin' salmon.
Slammin' salmon, not so-so. Sam, yeah.
Anyway, that's Samantha, Sam. You can call her Slammin', Sam is Salmon, or whatever. So, Elder Scrolls 6, no one knows anything really about the game. To be honest, we're not going to see the game for some time.
not a game, right?
It's not a game yet. Who knows what it is. But we have some interesting theories on what we'd like to see or what we could see for the game in the game, as far as settings, etc. However, I want to just touch real quick about why, unfortunately, we may not see Elder Scrolls 6 for quite some time. There's a couple reasons. One reason I'll touch on first, I made a recent video about this a little bit ago. I'll give you an example before I give you my information on Elder Scrolls. For example, let's start with Grand Theft Auto Online. Pompeii, that's a horrible time to play with the toy. You never play with that toy. You never play. Anyway, Grand Theft Auto Online kind of may have destroyed any chances there were of getting single-player or expansions for the single-player version of Grand Theft Auto 5. Originally, Rockstar Games said they would definitely make some single-player content for Grand Theft Auto 5. However, they probably didn't predict how big Grand Theft Auto Online would be. All the content that followed was Grand Theft Auto Online centric, because Grand Theft Auto Online just made so much money for Rockstar Games. Because essentially, an online game where you can have microtransactions, people can buy the in-game currency. You have constant little updates that bring people back. The shelf life of the multiplayer version of the game is longer and thus more profitable than the single-player version. So essentially, GTA Online killed any chance of any expansions or DLC. Let's go to Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls Online. While not as successful as GTA Online, it does have more profit than the single-player Elder Scrolls games, believe it or not. They do get a lot of money, but with the multiplayer version, even though Bethesda didn't make the game, they did publish it, so they are getting publishing money consistently from the game, and with new updates and content, that money will spike every so often when that content is released. Now, one thing people are saying is, does that mean that can possibly push back Elder Scrolls 6? Maybe we won't get it as soon so they can get more money from online? Before I give you my opinion, what do you think?
That idea depresses me because I'm a huge fan of the Elder Scrolls franchise, and I think that they need to keep it going, give us new and exciting material to play with.
Yeah, exactly. I play Elder Scrolls for the single-player experience. I like to immerse myself into the game. Like, it sounds cheesy, but I like to walk around and pretend like I'm someone living that life in that game. It makes it feel more adventurous, and it makes the world so much more beautiful. The in-game world's beautiful as it is, but when you actually feel like you're there, it makes it so much better. Online, it takes away that content when, some guy runs past me named Toilet Bowl Machine or whatever, and I'm like, oh good, I'm a nice Nord out here adventuring, and here comes the elf Toilet Bowl Machine who wants to join my party and help me kill the evil Archmage. Welcome, Toilet Bowl Machine. Tell me of your adventure. It doesn't really assist that.
Not the immersion now.
No, definitely. I don't feel immersed with Toilet Bowl Machine being my party member or my healer. But to answer the question, no, I don't think it's going to affect Elder Scrolls 6's release date. And the way I say that is because Bethesda wouldn't push back their single-player game because of the MMO they're simply publishing. They might put a little bit more time in it, maybe, but they wouldn't push it back a year or two or anything like that. The reason I definitely say no is because Bethesda has said so themselves, that the reason they're not going to release Elder Scrolls 6 for some time is because, honestly, they're getting burnt out on going from Fallout to Elder Scrolls to Fallout to Elder Scrolls.
Sure.
As I said in my previous video, and as you mentioned earlier when we were talking, Panda, the people at Bethesda Game Studios are artists. Like, some of them literally artists, and they don't want to just do the same content over and over again. They want to be creative. Push boundaries. Discover something new and give it to us at the same time. That's what they want to do. And they mentioned themselves they're working on 2 projects that are going to be out, maybe even more projects before Elder Scrolls 6 will come out. So knowing how long it takes them to make games, this could be a while, unfortunately. That's 5 years? Who knows, unfortunately. And I hate to say it, but I'm a realist, and I'm not going to give you guys some crap. I really think it's going to be a while.
What scares me is the idea that if it does go that long, like, so much of the industry is driven on excitement for a game, excitement for a franchise. The market really milks that excitement for as much money as they possibly can. And so in 5 years, is the demand for an Elder Scrolls game going to be there? Like, as someone who really loves the franchise, like, that's the part that's kind of scary for me.
They'd have to keep the hype up, for sure. I mean, I don't know if Bethesda's name
alone...
alone...
I think it'll definitely be there for all of the existing fans. And then, we're going to be entering where kids are getting older and such, and where they're playing with their parents and stuff. So I think that'll be a big influence. I definitely think
that's kind of true. I think people would be excited, but Bethesda shouldn't hold on to the hype surrounding Bethesda alone to keep all their projects afloat, because people who play Elder Scrolls may not want to play what their new game is. So once they start branching off, which I understand, at the same time from a business and a marketing and an industry perspective, you're going to start losing part of your identity as a company that gives you a game, whatever. Like, for instance, I went from doing Mass Effect stuff to now all gaming stuff, and I'm losing some subscribers, but at the same time gaining new ones, because I'm changing the demographic of what people are looking for. People came to me only for Mass Effect. If they didn't want anything other than that, they're going to leave.
That's the same, at the same time, though. I don't mean to be too contrarian. That's the same kind of business move that Bethesda just made that you were just talking about, right? They're broadening their horizons, right? They're diving into new waters, right? And that's going to give them a versatility in the market that they didn't necessarily have before. It's just like when you're an actor, right? You don't want to get typecast as something, right?
Yeah.
Because then somebody better comes along and he takes all your work, right? So it does make sense from a business and marketing perspective for Bethesda to diversify. It's just that I don't want my favorite franchise to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, me neither. I love the Elder Scrolls universe. The lore alone is just so intense. You can write...
It's one of the most in-depth role-playing game experiences that I've ever had.
If it was not a video game, it could easily be an ongoing book series. Like, there's so much there. It's incredible. And speaking of the possibility of everything, we have some ideas about what we'd like to see in Elder Scrolls 6, and we base these ideas because Panda and I are hardcore Elder Scrolls fanatics.
Almost a fanatic.
I used to just come home from work and watch hour-long documentaries about just the tiniest, stupidest things in the Elder Scrolls universe. Read the books.
I would collect the books that they had in Morrowind, Oblivion, and in Skyrim, and not even read them for the longest time. And then, there were sometimes I would just turn the game on and I would read books that I had lying around in different places where I was storing them, just to learn the lore.
Yeah.
And like where you were talking about how you like to walk around and immerse yourself, like my version of immersing myself was the reading of their short little digital books.
Oh yeah, I read all those too. And I did the same thing you did. I used to have separate bookshelves for books that I read and books I didn't read, so I didn't have to somehow manually keep track. Right. I could just go to a book and be like, alright, I haven't read these, let's read a few and then put them on this shelf. And I would collect them because I was so obsessed with collecting everything in the game. I had one of every gem in storage that I would never use because I just wanted it in case I needed it or wanted to put it on display, or because I was a hoarder. Who knows? We were gonna talk about where we'd like to see Elder Scrolls 6 take place. So we have a few ideas that we thought of before we recorded this, and we wrote some down. One of which is, I guess this could be a quick one, so we can talk about it first. Akavir. I'm sure you guys know of what Akavir is. But if not, do you? Because we don't really either. We kind of do, but we don't.
Purposefully mysterious.
It's the continent of which there are amazing, crazy races that we've never seen before in any Elder Scrolls game, and it's full of mystery. There's been a couple expeditions there of which we know little. They've invaded us, of which we don't know much about. The races there consist of ice, demonic creatures that freeze during the winter times, of serpent men, nice, intelligent, well-versed monkeys that are really, really good at diplomacy. For some reason, it's noted that they're really good at diplomacy, these monkeys. And then there's like a tiger race that are like the Khajiit. What else is there? Oh, there's somewhat of a dragon race, and the dragons of Skyrim supposedly came from Akavir as well. There's little bits of books and information, and even things that quests that kind of link to Akavir in some ways. But as far as Elder Scrolls goes, it hasn't given us much of anything.
Yeah, it pretty much just dips your toe into the Akavir. So it would be cool to have a game where there was like a lot of Akavir stuff going on.
That would be cool. Maybe an invasion, or maybe you actually go on an expedition.
Or something similar like Skyrim, where you can elect to join the Akaviri army.
And at the same time, it could allow maybe people who aren't as familiar to the Elder Scrolls universe to join when they're at a new continent, and some of the knowledge you'd have known before may not be as pertinent. I mean, it is, but it isn't, you know. But at the same time, they kind of do a good job at letting new players enter in at each game. But they also, at the same time, don't with some things. It's like the further you look into the lore or whatever in the game, the more you have to try to immerse yourself into it. Otherwise, you probably won't find much there. The gameplay itself being really good, but knowing that all that lore and stuff is there as well, it makes it one of the best RPGs, I think.
Indeed.
Now saying that, I was wondering if it'd be cool to go to Akavir, to do something with Akavir. But at the same time, it's always nice to have that mysterious, almost artifact that you don't know anything about in a game, and that you kind of, in every game, just get a bit more information about. It's cool to have that there, and I think I'd kind of be okay with Akavir fully remaining.
Like a little bit of mystery. Maintaining the mystery.
Yeah, for sure. So I think if they don't have us go there or whatever for a long time, that's fine. I like that. But what's next on our list?
There's what about, they talk about Argonia already, which is not even a place because it's the Black Marsh.
Yeah, Black Marsh. Yeah.
But what about Elsewhere? You love the Khajiit and Elsewhere. It's one of your favorite races, if I remember proper.
Elsewhere would be really interesting. It's kind of dynamic and diverse with its landscape, and each biosphere or biome, I guess you can call it, is unique in its own. There's lush tropical rainforests. Then they said deserts of red sand that go on for miles, that have ancient cities and temples that have long been buried under the sand. Which sounds really awesome. And then there's mountainside cities over the jungles and on the coast. Right. And then there's even plains and farmland. It just sounds like something that's tailored to be used for a game because of all the types of different regions there are. Some people may get bored playing in a game that's all desert, for instance, so why would they put it in a region that's all desert when they can have a region that has different types of biospheres?
Of course.
So I think that sounded really interesting. The Khajiit are cool, their lore is cool. There's already a way they can tie the game into current events because the Khajiit worship the moon phases, more or less. They live their lives based around them.
It's really more important for them down there.
Mm-hmm. And with recent events with, what are those elves from the Somerset Isles that were that were in Skyrim, that pretty much conquered. I can't remember their name. Yes. They more or less blocked out the moons from the Khajiit and are using that as a form to make Elsewhere a vassal. So maybe something happens, maybe you find a way to bring the moons back, and that makes the Aldmari elves invade there. And
that sounds like a plot line, for like a central plot line for the game. You're fighting off the shackles of the Aldmari Dominion, and at the end, you bring back the moons and become the hero of Elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what I would personally like to see from an Elder Scrolls game is a bold step. I want to see a bold step forward in time. I've got there's a lot of games where it's very medieval, and as far as medieval combat and magic goes, Skyrim's been the most savage, and it's wonderful.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not mad at it, but I would like to see them take some risks, and I think that they could take some of the risks that they are wanting to take with this franchise. If they were to do something like a colonial, let's go to Elsewhere and fast forward it a little bit, the Imperial colony on Elsewhere is now building roads into some of these deserts, into some of these rainforests, and they've brought their newly acquired knowledge of Dwemer technology and mastery over the remnant of Dwemer technology. And now we have steamboats, and now we have train cars, and we could have a lot of opportunity there. I feel like it'd be really, really fun.
It'd be like a steampunk, definitely. It'd be really cool, and that would be. It could add a new depth of gameplay into the game because ranged weapons could be different if they have pistols and such things.
Yeah,
It'd just be really interesting to have like a fire spell in one hand and a pistol in the other hand.
Yep.
That just seems like really awesome. Yeah. That's a whole new image for Elder Scrolls.
Indeed.
But that would be cool, though. I mean, that would be a really, really awesome thing to do. And then, oh man, robbing a train with magic and stuff.
Exactly. There's so many possibilities.
And then you could explore the sunken temples, because this could take place in Elsewhere. So you can do like a little bit of Indiana Jones stuff, go through some pyramids, find some treasures and some artifacts, fight giant serpents of the sand dunes. That'd be really cool.
That'd be excellent. And it'd be brand new. Stuff that they hadn't done before.
I think I'd like to see that most. Now, we could keep on going about our ideas about settings or whatever that we'd like to see in the next Elder Scrolls game. For hours upon hours upon hours. But this is not a podcast type dynamic. We are working on a podcast where we will heavily be talking about Elder Scrolls amongst other things in the gaming industry and etc. So to keep things short and sweet, we're going to end this first episode of Scribing the Scrolls with Skullzi Scribins. We're scribing Scrollsies with the Elder Scribes. ElderScrolls, Skullzi Scribes.
So I think this is where we clap.
This is no. So don't forget. Make sure you guys comment about anything that thought about when you're listening to us about Elder Scrolls, and we definitely want to hear about what you have to say about what you'd like to see in the game, or what you think of the state of Elder Scrolls 6. Do you think we're going to see it anytime soon? Do you think Elder Scrolls itself will be written down in the Elder Scrolls and forgotten about? No, I don't think that's going to happen. Hopefully, that would be sad.
They're trying to scare me.
The Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out, hopefully sooner rather than later. Let us know what you think below. We'll feature your comments in the next episode. And, as always, thank you for watching.